Well, first of all, anytime any of us is in a new culture, it's always surprising. So I think I want to make sure I start with that students shouldn't feel bad if they're surprised. The culture of an American college classroom is one where often it's an open classroom. So faculty are interacting with students on a regular basis. So when you walk into a classroom, a teacher might say, "Hi, how was your day?" Ask you how yesterday went. They might even know you well enough to ask you how your family's doing. One of the most surprising things about the American classroom was the freedom of speech. So depending on the culture or the country where you're coming from, that's something to be aware of. We practice free speech here. It's a value that we have in higher education, and it's a value that professors take seriously. And so we also want our students to feel free to speak. We want them to feel free to disagree with one another and to feel free to disagree with us or something that they read in the text. Right? So we encourage that kind of dialogue with one another. And that can be surprising to some, where they've been used to only having the professor tell them what's right or what's wrong. The other thing I say surprises students is the amount of critical thinking that we expect students to do. A lot of times if you're taking graduate classes or upper division courses, the courses might be more seminars, which are smaller, and a lot of the introductory courses might be larger lecture halls. So that's a big difference right there. I would say that what might vary from other instructor styles, some instructors might have 30 to 40 minutes of lecture. Obviously, if you're in a statistics course, it might look a little different than if you're in a class called Introduction to Higher Education. You might even see that the physical setup is a little different when you walk into a classroom in the U.S. Some of our classrooms, everywhere from the engineering building to the education building, people sometimes sit in small table groups, so not necessarily a gigantic lecture hall. While we do have some lecture halls, they might sit in groups with students, and so a lot of times there's work going on from student to student, not so much the teacher doing all the talking.